Hello, everyone. Today, yes, you hear it? Yes. Yes? Okay, thank you very much. All right, yes, we're going to be talking whales today, space whales. It's caused quite a controversy in the Star Citizen community. So I wanted to ask people, like, how many of you guys dig space whales in the game and how many of you don't? It was an interesting question, and here we've got some of the results here. Let me move over to this side. And it looks like this is pretty amazing. 410 of you voted. Okay, that's a pretty good size vote. It's not our best. I think our best was around 600, but it's a pretty decent sampling size for us and our community. But it looks like 78% of you are down for space whales. Okay, that was much higher than I anticipated. I am very split with space whales, and I'll tell you why. 22% were not okay with it. I wanted a yes or no answer. Thank you, Hammer. Thank you for that. Are we playing a drinking game? I think there's a drinking game going on with me, and I'm not quite sure what the word is to trigger the shot, but I if I knew that, you guys would be completely sloshed by now. That's all I would do. Anyhow, I want to talk about what I think right now, and then we'll look at what you guys think. Like I love to look at your guys' comments on the space whale controversy. I call it a controversy because to me, I think it's kind of relatively silly. It's a video game. It's got a space whale or two in it. I don't think it's something that is anything to get completely angry over. Like I'm seeing a lot of anger. I'm seeing a lot of anger out there with space whales, and it's like a little bit silly to me. I get it because people are feeling like, hey, maybe the game's going to jump the shark and get a little fantastical, and it's what I see as a split. Thank you, Killian. Thank you so much. I don't know what I'm saying, but I need to keep saying it. I see a split down the middle of people that are into the fantasy type gaming and people that are into the sci-fi type gaming. And to me, that's the division that I see. Simple as that. Like, people are worried that putting space whales in the game might be a little bit too much of a fantasy type concept, and people that aren't into the fantasy type gaming, oh, boom. Guys, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the support. It is very, very needed. Thank you so much. So to me, that's really how I envision this right now. Like, when I see this whole big controversy and I see people get really upset and say, hey, give me some realism. And then I see other people who are completely okay with it. I think it really has to do with the fact that you've got people that are into fantasy games and people that are hardcore realist sci-fi gamers that don't want that in the game. And I land in the category of I'm okay with it as long as it can be explained. Like, as long as the lore team comes in and explains this, and we're not seeing space whales everywhere. I do not want these space whales to be in every system. Like, oh, look, there's a pod of space whales. There's 15 space whales over here by Hurston. Oh, look, now there's 10 whales over here. I don't want that. And I don't think they're planning that. So that's another thing I wanted to get out there, because people are not expressing common sense game design, right? I don't think that this is going to be something that you're going to see everywhere. Now, this was really interesting when I look at this. This was the very introduction of the concept, this idea. Actually, it was in 2016 when people were talking about space whales, okay? Now, this was like in concept when they were drawing this. This is the day they started drawing the space whales, and this was an interesting portion of I think this was like a Star Citizen Live that they had, and they were talking about the introduction. Let me get my face out of here. And they're talking about the question being posed. The community brought up space whales. Like, the community wanted space whales.
Bring in the questions we're reading. Is this a joke, or will there be space whales in game?
Oh, sorry. Hold on a second. I think I might have to refresh. Damn it. Hold on a second.
We are at 1 o'clock, by the way, Josh. So
okay.
It's all in your time at this point.
Cool. I'm kind of just enjoying detailing this and kind of figuring out some shapes right now. So If we got a couple more questions or whatever you guys want to do, I'm cool with that for a couple minutes.
Yeah. Keep bringing the questions we're reading.
Here we go,
Is
guys.
this a joke or will there be space whales in game
Thank you,
sometime?
Slump.
We are exploring the idea. It is not a confirmed thing. The lore team asked us to play around with it. It's a thing that we have talked about for some time. Chris, if you look back at a Jump Point magazine from like a year ago, or maybe even a year and a half ago, there was an internal memo included in a Jump Point magazine where Chris said we're looking at the possibility of having space whales. It is something that we have discussed for.
So that was the initiation, like the very concept being drawn out there. Slump Dog, thank you so much for that donation, dude. He says, why couldn't space whales be a thing? We don't know what isn't real until it's false. Cars were not realistic years ago. Microsoft equal Microtech HoloLens. So he's talking about the fact that space is so vast and we don't know it. And I think the argument that's opposed to Slump is like the science of it. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the science of it, right? I mean, you actually, this is a great segue, Slump, into something called a tardigrade, or I might be pronouncing that incorrectly, but these things actually can live in a vacuum. Here's what they look like up close. And they definitely have like an exoskeleton, and these things are really tiny. These things are very old, found here in amber, and I think over 500,000 years ago, and they can handle the vacuum of space. In fact, a really interesting article here, or a piece down here on the Wikipedia page, says that in let me see if I can find it. They did a study on these things called tardigrades. Here we go. Survival after exposure to outer space. And this particular part was interesting. It says tardigrades are the first known animal to survive after exposure to outer space. In September 2007, dehydrated tardigrades were taken into low Earth orbit, carrying biopan astrobiology payload. For 10 days, groups of tardigrades, some of them previously dehydrated, some of them not, were exposed to the hard vacuum of outer space. Radiation, blah, blah, blah. 68% of the subjects protected from solar UV radiation were reanimated within 30 minutes following rehydration. So essentially what it's saying is that they survived, that these things could survive actually outer space. So there's a life form out there that can actually survive outer space right now. Now, are these whales capable of doing this? I mean, like, how serious do we want to get? And this is where the argument starts to break down, because then people will argue against the tardigrade comments that you're seeing on Reddit. And I think people are they want something backing up these space whales. We know that the origin point of space whales came from people, and we know that a lot of people are into the fantasy. You looked at the poll, right? You guys saw the poll. Like 78% of people were in favor of space whales. And so, like, I think the people that are arguing the loudest against this, and they have a right to, are people that are realists that are saying, hey, show me the science. I want to see the science. And then people show the tardigrade argument as like a counter argument to that. And they say, okay, tardigrades, great, but space whales. And I would say this. First off, it's a game. Relax and take a breath. I don't think they're jumping the shark here by putting a space whale in there. I think this is kind of, to me, one of those very funny moments in gaming history where if you see a space whale in there, whether you like them or not, you can be like, oh yeah, space whales. Like, you know, but I'm curious what you guys said in the comments. So I'm going to read a couple of the comments in the chat right now. Let's read some of the comments here. Mark says, it's funny, everyone asking for aliens and wildlife, and now they add the wildlife and combine it with additional gameplay, and people go bonkers. I think people want to see more planet-side life, though, Mark. In all fairness, though, Mark, I think what people want to see is actually more planet-side life. Now, if these whales have some type of lore behind them, some type of science that we can somewhat believe, where they're living in, like, gas giants, right? Or they can come out and they're cruising around cosmic gas, something of that nature that sustains them, or a reason for these things to exist. I think that'll give a little bit more credence to the realists out there that are looking for that kind of like anti-fantasy that these space whales pose. So I think that's what we're seeing. I think that's what we're seeing. Slump Dog says we were once all in the seal. The whole Earth was just an ocean millions of years ago after the volcanic crazy period. So it is something that I find interesting. People are getting very emotional about these space whales. Like, to me, and like, I just want to tell everybody, like, what, like, just to make sure you guys understand this is a video game. But it's very important to us because a lot of us have put money towards this and we want the game that we want. So like some people that are having issues with this are not really into the fantasy aspect of gaming. And I think that's what's not really being talked about here. Like I've seen a couple other people talk about space whales, but nobody really gets into the meat of the argument, which is like you have fantasy gamers and then you have realist sci-fi survival kind of gamers. And when you bring about space whales that was brought into existence from the minds of the fans and it gets inserted and then they draw it out, it's not flushed out yet, it's not concrete, and then boom, now it is, and the confirmation's there with no other explanation behind it. I think that's what's getting people on edge about space whales. Bubba says, if Bigfoot can exist, why can't space whales? Chris says, I want to mine space whales. So yeah, space whale ships getting swallowed by space whales. There's a whole lot of scenarios I can imagine here. But I want you guys to all take a breath first off, okay? Let's just take a breath because it's not worth getting this upset about. If you guys absolutely hate space whales and you see a space whale in a game, think of it like Roger Wilco. I don't know if you guys are that old as I, but like if you guys understand the old Roger Wilco space series, that was kind of like a very kind of comic view of space. You can look at the space whale and you can point to it and you can be like, okay, that's a Roger Wilco moment. But this is here. I'm going to show you what they've got in designs here for the space whales right now. There's 3 different versions that they're going with. Now, I don't know if they're wanting us to pick 3, or I don't know if this is like the 3 different species of space whale that they're going to have, but I wanted to show you guys what is on the drawing board. I think the artist did a good job of it. I would like to see more of a skin that is like an armor skin. I don't think that like this looks like a fleshy skin. So, you know, in terms of realism, I would personally like to see a little bit more like you can see like armor maybe on the bottom, but most of this thing looks fleshy, especially with the tendrils. You can see how big the space whale is, the cutlass. So it's quite a few cutlasses long. It looks to be about 4 or 5 cutlasses in length. So let's look at these whales here. Here's the first whale. The second whale is off the hook. Like the second whale, I like the little, wow. Okay. So, and there's the third whale. So quite different looks. I don't know. What do you guys like? 1, 2, or 3? Some of you guys are going to say none. Boba says, call me Ishmael. What's up, Tech? Tech says, if they make them ugly as hell, they will be more believable. Right, Tech? Completely, dude. I think you scored 100% on that response right there, buddy. Patrick says, I want land sharks. Snowfox says, can you eat the space whales? And will it taste better than sandworms? Talk about space whale oil, you know, like maybe these things will be sought after, but I don't think you're going to see these guys over here. I don't think you're going to see these guys flying all over the place, you know, through the vacuums of space. I think this is going to be a very rare occurrence to see one of these things. In fact, I'd love them to be so rare that it would be like Bigfoot sightings. I think everybody's getting upset over nothing. Because I think in the end, what they're going to do is they're going to put some lore and some science behind it. It's going to be a little bit more believable. I hope they do another draft or 2 of the space whale and have a little bit more armor plating or something so that I can believe it a little bit more. I still think the fleshy kind of thing isn't working for me in vacuum of space. But anyhow, I think what you'll see is you'll very rarely see this. In fact, the sightings of these things are going to be so rare that like people will want to film these things. It reminds me of Elite Dangerous when they first introduced the alien species. And and you got the sighting. I want it to always be that rare. I want it to always be that kind of rare. Like, oh wow, look, there's a space whale. I can't believe I actually saw one. That type of a thing. If they do something like that, then I'll be a little bit better. then I'll feel a little bit better about space whales. But I just wanted to go over some of the comments here that we have here. Hammer says, I like to think of it as a humorous nod. Yes, exactly, dude. Exactly, Hammer. Scott says, I'm glad it's in. These spaces are feeling rather empty. Coming across a space whale might help to make things feel more alive. So yeah, like, you know, if they're very rare and you come across one of these things, it'll be like, whoa. Next concept ship, Space Whaler. It said. Enoch says space whalers are awesome. Roger says, I think a biomechanical or sentient ship is a Leviathan vessel, and Farscape is a nice idea. Yeah, you could add gameplay because of this. I get people who say it's too fantasy. Exactly. J-Dubs gets the argument here because I don't see too much people talking about this in essence, like the style of game that you like. But it's fun. Plus, every alien race is fantasy. Might as well say no to the Tavarn or Banu. It's also a great shout out to those of us who help fund the game. And whaling. For my fellow Star Citizens, here's a concept that might help you with who says that an alien being, maybe? I'm not quite sure what he's saying there. Vegna says, I like it. It makes the universe all that more mysterious. Just think flying through a nebula and all of a sudden this massive alien whale comes out of the gas cloud. It would be kind of, yeah, like I oh man, it goes back to like how I'm very split about this. Like I hope it's real enough to where I'm like, okay, blown away by this thing. You know, if I'm blown away by this thing and it's like rarely seen, this thing comes out of the clouds like Vegna says, then I might be like, okay, all right, I'm appreciating the art. What's up, Native Fry? Native Fry says, yo, DG, just seen you had a live stream. Well, welcome to the stream, bro. Welcome, man. Glad to have you here. I'm all right. In the chat says, I hope they are vicious as hell. Oh, I'm all right. Wants some mean whales in the game. Oh, he just stepped it up a notch. You just stepped it right up there. Oh, and then Hammer says maybe we should have the SRVs do the harpooning. That would be fun. Killian in chat says heard it, but the first episode started with so many physics. Oh, okay, that's something completely different. All right. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Fett says, I could do without these. I don't really mind space creatures of the fantastic kind, but I wouldn't want them, but I want them well thought out. Yes, perhaps before we got confirmation of space whales, they should have told us a little bit more on the last episode of Inside Star Citizen or had a link to the lore of these space whales. I think that'd have been a much smarter idea. This reminds me of the bobblehead incident in terms of how they're introducing this. There needs to be more information passed along with the space whales. They need to be like, okay, these are space whales. Here's the lore. You know, like, you know, people are going to be super critical about this. I mean, I don't know how people over at Cloud Imperium wouldn't have thought that people were going to be super critical of this when this thing came out. There should have been a lot more lore in terms of, you know, like, other than like, here's space whales, everybody. Here you go. Oh my God. All right. Hato, what's going on? Hato says the reason to the fact that I like this is because I would like to see more life in Star Citizen. Yeah. So that seems to be an argument. That seems to be an argument that I see a lot is people are saying, hey, we don't have anything right now. Then I'm happy with space whales. But here's something else. Why don't we start focusing on putting life on planets? Before we go to that great big leap of space whales. You know what I'm saying? Again, take a breath. This is all just, I think, in jest and in fun. It is confirmed, but, you know, I just look at this as something that could be rather silly as well. It's a video game. This is what happens when you troll Jared too much. That's funny. That's funny. Django, what's going on? That's my friend Jiro. I only like the idea of them if there is a good and scientific explanation for why and how they exist. Now this, man, I'm giving you a thumbs up and a heart. I completely agree with that. Somebody replied, exactly, says Fetz. Yes, yes, yes. Now see, I'm down with that. That is a very rational way to put things. Thank you. Thank you. Solara, how you doing, hun? Solara says, I want every scenario from every sci-fi film. She wants that unlimited experience. You got to heart the unlimited experience. You got to heart that. Thank you, Hammer. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much for all your support. Everybody who's donated. Oh, we're saying take a shot. Oh my goodness. Our audience is getting sloshed right now, by the way, everybody. If you're not here live, you're missing the great drink off of 2020. Everybody's at home because of Corona, and they're not even affected right now. They're sitting at home taking shots, watching the show right now. This is the great shot off of 2020. Disky says, people seem to be getting frustrated or angry about the idea. It makes the game more fantasy and less sci-fi. Yes, right. But that's completely untrue, says Disky. Okay, well, now he grabbed my interest. He says, it's just another alien organism in an alien environment. So what's the problem? And it's not as if this is a new concept. It's been done plenty of times before. I think that it's the fact that they're in space, Disky. I think it's a little bit more than that. I like that you're taking the easy approach. I like that you're taking the like sit back and relax approach. I admire that. It's a video game after all. But on the other hand, I have to say that I think I would take it up just a notch, and I would say, you know, people are arguing it being in space. And, you know, like I showed you guys the tardigrade at the very beginning of this. We do see confirmation of a species living in vacuum. We just need the science and the lore behind these space whales, period. Cap, what's going on, Cap? I saw him on stream earlier here. I think it's a fun part of the game, something that may encourage exploring or travel, as in the real world, most people would have to travel to be in the presence of a whale. I think it should be the same in SC. Can you imagine paying for a trip aboard a Phoenix now that's cool. That would be cool, but see, that would mean that there would be a lot of space whales out there, and I'm not necessarily down with that, but I like what Captain did here. Captain Carrot is inventing gameplay. He's creating that content. He's creating, as what we call here in this community, that VAG, that hashtag VAG, that value added gameplay. I like what he's doing there. Jonathan says, also out of the 100 plus planned star systems, I'm sure there will be some that are straightforward and strictly space sim. I don't even know. I don't know like how they're planning about going about that. That to me would be like a little bit over the top, like where they're planning like certain systems are going to be more fantasy and certain systems are going to be more realistic. I think if we get to that level of categorization, Jonathan, I think then we've jumped the shark. I think then we kind of like think about, okay, now this system's going to be fantasy. This system's going to be sci-fi. I don't know what you guys think about that. I'm not quite sure. That's my take on it. Let's see. Slump says aliens are fake. This is in our live chat right now. Slump says aliens are fake, so let's remove them. Let's remove the sandworms too. Wow. He's just like, get all of it out of there. K-Bomb says, I take the Dr. Was that Ian or Ian? Malcolm view from Jurassic Park. Life finds a way. If there is a medium, life will find a way to exist there. I like that. That's cool, man. All right. Shane says there are plenty of sci-fi books that explore creatures in space. Space be crazy. No reason some creatures couldn't evolve on a light gravity, be able to traverse. Thank you, Killian. Thank you, guys. Wow. The guys at this point are feeling mighty, mighty good right now. Like I'm telling you. Oh, he's starting on beer. Killian's starting on beer right now. He says, blah, 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 blah. Part of me can't help but believe that team members working on storage whales could it be takes with something. I don't know. You're okay, Shane. What do you? But Sig knows better than I admit what resources they have for what parts of the project. Most likely, this is just being done with small pieces of time between other larger tasks. I don't know. Then we get into that debate. I think Shane just opened up a can of worms with that comment, because some people are saying, hey, why are we bothering on Space Whales and not moving on to something different? And if in fact Space Whales was, you know, pretty much an hour-long episode that we saw there in 2017 where they drew it, then like how much thought and design really went into Space Whales other than seeing people talk about wanting Space Whales and then just drawing it and saying, there's your Space Whale. So there, like, that's a whole nother can of worms. That's I've seen that out there as well. And if you take it from that angle, then yes, I could understand the realist's argument on that. Kevin Scale says they should be super rare. Yes, absolutely. To make exploration actually interesting, there should be lots of super rare things to find. 100%. Absolutely agree, Kevin. Yes, this should be something that you're not going to see once every, month or two. This should be something you see like once a year if you're lucky. That's exactly what I think as well. Allie, we have bird persons and wormholes. Of course I want space whales. Huh? Just got a point there. Dex 610 says it doesn't seem to fit with the direction that SE has been going. Just my opinion. I'm hoping they come up with a clever way to implement. Yes. Damon Chazanik. I think that's I think he's Czechoslovakian. Chazanik DG, watch the short film Leviathan on here. If that doesn't get you excited, then you're dead inside. Star Citizen is epic and deserves epic monsters and gameplay. All right. All right. Definitely you can tell Damon is in the fantasy kind of gaming. And that, again, is the split that I see. The people that are into fantasy gaming and the people that are more realists and into the science of the sci-fi experience. And they tend to like survivor-based games as well. I'm getting both sides of this argument. I think what people really need to do is just take a breath and relax a little bit and realize that the lore will be incoming. I'm pretty sure they're going to make this a rare thing. And everybody just needs to calm down just a little bit on the whole discussion. It really is like a firestorm. I really didn't think this Space Whales would cause this big of a firestorm, but it does. People are, either very opposed to this or just like, hey, hell no. Have you ever hit a space whale at warp speed? It makes a hell of a I love reading your guys' comments. Thank you for participating, by the way. It is very fun reading your guys' comments. Speakeasy's in chat right now. He says, anything that will bring life to the verse, I say. All right. Slump! You beautiful, beautiful person. You. Thank you so much. Slump says, Sig should have kept their mouth closed and put the whale in for us explorers to find. Now, see, excuse me. I think I'm getting corona, for God's sake. So many people sick around me. God. Slump, I agree with you, dude. Sig should have kept their mouth closed, put the whale in as a surprise, like an Easter egg, so that when people see it, it would be a big deal. You know what, dude? Absolutely. Also, what about a space kraken? He says, we have a kraken. No, just teasing. It's a ship. See what I did there? Sorry, Slump. Uh-oh, people are moving on to whiskey in the chat right now. It's getting crazy in the chat. People are moving on to the strong stuff right now. Coov, what's going on, Coov? If we had all of the things they push back and postpone, then I would say yes, by all means, give us wheels. But since we are lacking dozens of mechanics, and see, yes, this is another thing, but I don't honestly think they put much time and resources into this, Coov. Like, I really don't think they put a lot of time and resources into the space whales. I think this was like an afterthought. I think that what you saw there in this happy hour game time here, where they literally, Josh, by the way, who is gone now, one of my favorite artists, is now gone, does not work for Cloud Imperium anymore. And he took like a lump. Like, if you look at this is what he started with. So I give props to the artists. Look at what Josh started with here. And by the end, this is what he made. Like, that in itself deserves a golf clap. That in itself deserves a golf clap. I want to see the whale have like a tough, thick armor. And it looked like Josh was going for that. If you look at the whales here, you can see the change in the design of the art. Like, where they really changed. Let's look at that again. If you look at this whale and you look at what he drew here, there's a pretty big change in design. It's like they scrapped Josh's idea. I personally liked this, maybe with not so many fins, but I like the rougher kind of armor or hide look of this whale rather than the kind of fleshy jellyfish thing going on here with this whale. I just think it's a little bit more like the tardigrade that we saw here has like an armory outside. That's exactly how it survives in a vacuum. It's all soft and gooey inside with a hard shell on the outside. That's like more sciencey to me than anything else. And this whale looks a hell of a lot more able to handle space than this whale. Like, this whale looks like it should just implode to me. Like just jelly. You know, like put it out in space, it's like just completely folds up. So anyhow, let's get back to the comments here. Let's read the live chat and see what you guys are talking about in here. Yeah. Let's see here. If people complain about the whale, then Sig can say it's already in the game. Oh, so yeah, talking about Slump's idea about how this should just have appeared and not been talked about and just like been a rare occurrence. Totally agree with Slump. People in the chat look like they're agreeing with him as well. I think Space Whales was created by a developer with the spare time Actually who it was created by was the in 2016, it was mentioned from fans. Like fans actually said, hey, we want Space Whales. So it was kind of a joke to start out with. And then this video here that you see here, Slump, was the result. Like Cloud Imperium said, okay, well, it's the people are wanting the Space Whales. Let's start drawing it. I love the faces here from the designers. Like, this is a great shot. That is so good. Purple Whale likes Hammer says Purple Whale looks like it would stick to a wall. Oh shoot. Yeah, Josh is gone. He's working for another company, at least last I checked, that was like a school that taught art. But yeah, he might have gotten another job since, but he was working for a very popular company out in California that helped video artists out in California. And he might have landed a job like K-Bomb saying he got his dream job with Sony Entertainment. I always thought Josh was a really cool dude. Josh was a wonderful artist, in my opinion. Anyway, let's read some more comments here, and we'll wrap things up. Hey, DG, Timeout 420 says, hey, DG, it's always great to expand on the horizons and possibilities of our dream game. Although it should be said that at times I feel like it's just that, a dream. To come or not, to come is only answered by time. It's very, very poetic. I like that, Timeout. I like that, dude. You keep bringing us that mind candy, dude. I'm digging the poetry that you're putting down, man. Nipes. A space whale concept is so cool, and I'm waiting for life in the game other than humans. Everything feels so empty without animals. And that goes back to what we were talking about, like maybe some land animals, some fauna, talking about like a little bit more of those things that we need to see. Especially on Microtech, I want to see like a Hoth type creature. Crixzillo, sorry, but it's just plain ridiculous. They are shaped for liquid environments. They have fins in space, highly puzzling. So he wants to see like a little bit different of a design, which I wouldn't disagree with Crix at all. What's up, FHG? Good to see you, Field Hood. Those wheels are magical. What's next? A mana pool for our characters? Oh, snap. That, like, you see what he did there? He's saying it's too much fantasy. Gotta respond with an oh, snap. Tech, my friend, Tech. It says, open a space casino. Comp them dinner in a nice room, then milk them. Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine what space whale milk would go for on the market? Maybe we should start milking these whales, yo. And then we can sell the space milk. I like it. I like where you're going with that. Always industrious. Always the trader, Tech. I'm digging that. Daniel Sousa, first baseman for the New York Yankees back in 1987. Hey, TG. Hope you and the fam are staying safe. Yes, man. Thank you. We're fighting all different types of wonderful illnesses at the moment. I like the concept of space whales, to be honest, and the potential gameplay associated with them. Having rare materials on them we can source. They will surely add life to the universe, says Daniel. Furthermore, I like the fact that SIG is keeping their promise in developing a fan concept and putting it in the game. Okay, what about that, audience? What do we think about that? Look at the poll. 78% of people wanted space whales, like Daniel's saying. They come in, they say, there's your space whale. They draw it out, they flush it out, they put it in the game. Some of us might not like the art of it, but there it is. And they delivered on the promise of the space whales. It was the fans that wanted the space whales. 78% of people playing Star Citizen wanted it, at least in our sample, which was fairly good size. 400 plus votes. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. And 78% of people wanted space whales. That's, I see what Daniel's saying. All right, Daniel. Hope to see your comments on the next vid, dude. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Let's see here. Cooler Pure says, can never turn down more content. Plus, if they give us the cloudy space environment where the whales swim, it would be so cool to harvest ores and you have like a space whale in the background. I don't know if I want him that out in space, cool, but I get you, dude. I get you. He's in it for the love of the space whale. Jonathan Thomas says, I think it's super cool. We're getting space whales. Think about how cool, how could we not have them when we do have sandworms? The space whale being compared to the sandworm There's a lot of people saying, this is another sandworm type thing. So, who knows? Maybe sandworms will be just as rare as space whales. Philip Nunya. Everyone has their own thing. They like SC4, but Star Wars, Star Trek, Space Whales is not one of them for me. I want SC to be fun, but also more realistic science fiction. There we go again. That delineation between fantasy gamer versus like that more realist sci-fi kind of gamer. Space Whales breaks the suspension of disbelief for me. Also, why? What's the point? How does it make any sense? And I would answer that as thus, Philip. I would say that you have the 78% of people who want it in the game. It's as simple as that. And Cloud Imperium listened and they put it in. I think it is totally possible, however unlikely, to have a large spacefaring creature. Oh, there we got our tardigrade. Somebody else knows about the tardigrade. Oh, this is all happening to April. This is all happening close to April Fool's Day. Perhaps it is, but no, I don't think it is. I think Space Whales or Space Whale is in the game. Snow Fox, who's live in our chat right now. Snow Fox, what's going on, buddy? He says Space Whales in space. It's like pigs in space, I think is what he's doing there. I hope it's going on a planet somewhere and not in space, since they were always talking about how they want to be more realistic and less fantasy. Wow. We also talked about that earlier. Maybe these space whales originate from like gas giants. Imagine a giant space whale floating through Crusader. That would be cool. Now, see, I'd be a little bit more game for that, but considering that they're called space whales, I think these things will in fact be in space. But I'd rather see these types of whales live on gas giants like Crusader. Imagine once they put the orbital station on Crusader and it's like right next to them clouds, and then you see like this whale going in and out of that. Now that would be tasty. I don't think anybody would disagree about that. Now, see, that's something where I would see something like this, not this one. Hold on. I can see this sucker. I can see this. Wait, hold on. I can see that one right there flying through Crusader right now, sucking up that Crusader gas, all delicious. Like, it's like, la, 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 la. And you're like, there she blows. Now that I feel like I would be much more into something of that nature. So yes, I get you, dude. I get you. But these, I think, will be in the cold, hard vacuum of space. Chris says gas whales. Yes, please. That's what I'm talking about. Gas wells. Thank you, Snow Fox. What do you continue? What does he say after that? They were always talking about how they want this to be a more realistic and less fantasy. If they keep going, the space wolves will shoot back with laser eyes like they do in Stellaris, and we'll have to team up with sexy space elves. It's all downhill from here. That's great. That's great, Fox. Mr. Dash says, why not? Space is infinite with infinite possibilities. Plus, sir, a pod of space whales are on collision course with us. I hope that... Okay, that got me, dude. I hope it's not that. I hope there's just not a pod of whales, dude. Yeah. That's funny, dude. I thought it was supposed to be somewhat realistic, says C. You got some people that are very upset. In fact, in our Discord today, I saw Invisible and Fetson just going apeshit ballistic about space whales. I want solid, concrete, scientific proof. I want it explained down to the nano part. And then poor Hormagaz was in there saying, hey guys, maybe space whales aren't that bad. They're terrible. That's exactly the conversation I saw in Discord today. I was like, I felt so bad for Hormagaz. All he wanted is like for people to be open-minded and listen, and like Invisible and Fets were just pummeling poor Hormagaz in the Discord. It was ridiculous. Sometimes when I see the chat, I just want to be like, Invisible, Fets, guys, take a breath. Horm's just trying to get you to be a little bit more open-minded. And then Invisible will come in and be like, I don't want to be open-minded. It's like, whoa, man. I tell you guys to get outside, but you can't do that right now. Like, you can't do it right now. Collie Doo. That's a great name. Can you get a crime statistic for gunning down an endangered space whale? Yes, that is confirmed from me. You can in fact get crime stat. Geek Hippie says people will unfortunately hunt them down and kill them just for the laws, then post a video of it. And you're probably right, Geek. You're probably right, dude. But I think if they make them rare enough, it's going to be such a rare occurrence that when they do find them, people are just going to be kind of like in wonderment, like, ooh. Killian, and then shoot it. Killian says, I'm very much looking, by the way, Killian's in the chat. Killian's here live right now. I'm very much looking forward to all sorts of fauna in the game. However, I find space whales nowadays are a kind of washed out concept. For me, they will be creatures that would demystify space because of their size and obviousness. I'd like creatures in space sometimes, but A, planets come definitely first, and B, SIGs needs to do better than simply putting something big in space and calling it a space whale. And I think the reason you think this, Killian, as well, has to do definitely with the fact that this was a fan-created concept from the minds of fans that were just kind of willy-nilly wanting to put space whales in there to start out with as a joke. Some people thought it was cool, and then they just drew it in that one episode, that happy hour game time that you saw. Thank you, Slump Dog, putting down some serious cash. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. And then he continues by saying it would need more myth and a supernatural, almost spooky touch to it to match the vastness of space. I agree with that, dude. I agree with that totally. Thank you, Slump. Slump says, has CR ever called it realistic though? No. You know, this definitely was like a fan-driven thing. CR calls it a living, breathing universe. Whales could eat gas clouds to live. Final money drop. He's slamming the mic down. He's like, mic drop. Chris says, let's vote for sexy space elves. Dude, Chris, I think you got something right there. That might be our next vote. Kevin says, by the way, welcome to the stream, Kevin. Kevin says they had space whales in Star Trek. That's realistic enough for me. Did they? I don't remember that episode. I'll have to look that up. Let's see here. Viz and Fetzen really need their own room. I've told them that. Killian, that's so funny you said that. I told them, I'm like, if they keep on at the rate that they do, like, I'm just going to make a Viz and Invisible and Fetzen room. It's so overwhelming sometimes to watch those two talk. I love them dearly, but Jesus. Thank you, Anarchy. Thank you so much. Look at those stickers in chat. That's kind of cool. What is that, Anarchy? Is that a pear? What is that? Snowfox says, do you think there will be a space whale crossing? Okay, you're killing me. Earth whales, bro. Oh my goodness, you guys are cracking me up tonight. This is great. I'm so happy to be here. It's been too long. I'll try not make the next stream so far apart. Thank you everybody for showing up here. All right, Killian gets a heart for that. Tran says, I'm glad they're in because ever since that game dev, we have been wanting animals, not just player or NPC, to look around. So he has the argument about, you know, hey, we want something a little bit more. Personally, I would rather them focused on planets. But like I said, I don't think a lot of time was really put into this. Killian, dang. Anarchy and Killian throwing down too. You guys must be feeling really good right now. You guys are supposed to be doing shots, by the way, every time we see donations. So I know that many of you out there are starting to see like 3 of me. I'm the one in the middle. And I know the words right now that are coming out of my mouth are probably sound pretty good right now. So I'm going to talk in a lower tone. I'm going to start doing some ASMR. No. Anarchy Burger with that secret sauce. Anarchy says, imagine your ship, your cootie getting swallowed up by a space whale. Yeah, man, that cutty's gonna definitely get swallowed up. Could you imagine though? That would be a cool concept. Like to be swallowed like Jonah in the space whale. You can make a whole movie. Like that sounds like some video content I need to make. The Jonah in the space whale. Let's go for a hunting party, says Frapp. Rich says, I'm glad and I trust the team to make it work. Star Citizen will be more Star Warsy with them, says Dark Pit. Some people are saying that. Some people are saying, hey, if we put space whales in the game, it's going too Star Warsy for me, and it's steering away from the genre that they like. Anarchy in chat saying that the whale that we saw earlier looks like a blue turd. Let's look at this again. It's getting crazy up in the chat. Hammer saying, I don't understand the words coming out of my mouth. I don't understand the words coming out of my mouth. Hammer. What's up, Win? Good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream, buddy. All right, so we're gonna keep going on here. Let's read some more of these comments. This is very fun. I'm having a good time with you guys. Grant Hutch, what's going on, Hutch? I think it'll make space a bit more interesting. Gives people their chance to get their Ahab in space on. Yes. Total Moby Dick. This may be the origination of space whales in itself. Moby Dick. Pepic Walrus says, people seem to be forgetting we are getting at least one space creature already besides space whales, so it's not far-fetched. Look into the Hades Systems wiki and read about the Hades cryptid known under a few names like, oh, no. It's Hadesians. We actually did that. We did that piece. Yeah, so Pepic says, hey, there's already another alien species out there that can live in a cool vacuum. And you know what? Very good on Pepic. If you look on the channel and you type in Hadesians, it's Hadesians. It's an alien species that went extinct 300,000 years ago, and we believe that they killed themselves off. So very good on you for knowing your lore, Pepic. I am actually very happy that there's somebody else out there versed in the Star Citizen lore. That's awesome. Eagle 6 Airsoft says, peeps need to understand it's a game, not a flight simulator. It's similar to popular Monster Hunter games. Find it, kill it, and break parts off for crafting. I'm all for it, but at this point, I would just like any NPC animals to kill. They could have started with a deer, for God's sake, says Eagle. Right. Yes. And like Slump Dog said earlier, they could have kept the space wheels hush and made it an Easter egg for us to find. Absolutely, Eagle. Absolutely. And 209 says, call me Ishmael. Mac, what's going on? Mac says, I don't care either way. See, Mac's really easygoing. I think some people care because they're feeling like space whales might make this game jump the shark, meaning this game's gone super silly mode with space whales. I think that's what people are worried about the most, and they don't want the game to like continue with the road of space whales. And I don't think we'll see that too much more. I don't think we're going to see like ultra fantasy explosion continue from this point on. So that's something to think about. Again, Roger Wilco moments, and you can point at it and you can laugh whether you like it or not. And I like Mac's attitude because honestly, I don't think this is a huge deal. I think they'll support this with lore. They'll get the science that we're needing, and they'll make these so rare that, hey, it's not going to be a big deal. You're going to see one every year. You're going to see one a year. And when you see him, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, look at this dude's video. He found a space whale. And I hope to God that's me. Should be me. Windlord says space deer. Fox says that's some good meat. K-Bomb says, in a game where we have bipedal aliens that speak English and spaceships that all have artificial gravity, and a world where you can have your ship blow up with you in it and still wake up somewhere, to complain about space whales as being unrealistic seems dumb AF. I'm cool with space whales. K-Bomb putting it down. Azure, what's up, Az? Says, honestly, these little side jobs annoy me more than they impress me. They are still so missing many. There are still so many missing things. Even the cloud tech would impress me more. Although I'm pretty over the weight of this game. Az is like, come on already. Don't add space whales. Just give me the meat. Give me the mechanics. Give me the things that I want to make this game complete already, not the space whale sidetrack. But again, like I said, this did not take them very much time. This took them like an hour. We saw Josh draw, put it down. They probably came in with another artist after the fact because they didn't want Josh coming back and saying, hey, I drew that. So they probably had somebody else come in, redesign the space whale, put it down, and they wanted it as like a special cherry on the top of a, I don't know, sundae. Like, here you go. And they should have put more lore with it. And if they didn't do it at all, it'd have been better because they could have snuck it in as an Easter egg and we could have been like, oh my God, could you imagine if they did this as an Easter egg and we didn't know this was happening and somebody discovered it in the game, like Slump had mentioned? People, I don't think, would have the reaction that they are right now. It'd be a totally different reaction. They'd be like, wait, what was that? And then that's it. You don't hear anything about it for another year or two. And people would be like, okay, I think people would be a little bit more accommodative to that kind of implementation of a space whale. Windlord says, Santa's reindeer come from space. I want Santa as a mission giver. That will be in 4.1. That will be in 4.1. All right. So Invisible. Okay. This is what Invisible was saying here. And I like that Invisible shortened up his comments because Invisible, he knows better. He knows that if his comments get too long, I will not read them. Invisible can write a book, and his wife, who's in chat, will agree with me. She knows more than anybody else the lengths to which Invisible will go to prove a point. Volumes and volumes. Now, I like these shorter comments from Invisible. I will read this, Invisible. I signed up for a Halo Mass Effect, Firefly, Captain Harlock. By the way, Captain Harlock, awesome. Love freaking Captain Harlock. Great anime. Cowboy Bebop, Blade Runner. Who doesn't love Cowboy Bebop? Blade Runner, Alien Universe, where everything has some grounding in physics and reality. Cold, hard reality. This crosses the fantasy line for me. Not that maybe these things might exist out there, but to my current understanding of space, they could not. This is too far a lean into Space Dandy, Stargate, Farscape, Stellaris. So yes, there is that division. Yes. There is that division that we were talking about earlier. And last comment, drum roll, please. Import Trace. That is so good, dude. Great name. Why I voted yes? We simply need something else than humans in the game. Boom. I feel like that was a punchline to a joke. That was wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for being part of our special additional bonus content at the end of our Inside Star Citizen review. I will, of course, post this as a separate video. This will be in the Inside Star Citizen review video. Also, I will make it its own video. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you so much. Don't forget to push the like button if you had a good time here tonight. Push that like button. I'm seeing the likes are pretty low on this. It's kind of making me a little nervous. Like, I've been seeing a drop in views overall, and like I'm getting a little nervous. I'm like, oh, do you guys not like it? If you guys do like it, let me know. Keep the likes going. Keep the shares going. If you guys are down for the series and you want more people to come to the shows, this is something you guys got to keep sharing and liking. It's the only way we're going to get more people to these. We had over 35 people tonight. Not bad. Not the greatest, but not bad. And I'm hoping to see that we're going to have more people on the next one when it comes back 3 weeks from now. Don't worry. I'll be posting content again like crazy next week. It's been really hectic. People have been sick here. Thanks, everybody. A giveaway video will be coming. I'm hoping Saturday, if not next week. And then next week, we'll be getting regular streams and content. Once again, hopefully everybody gets better by then. And I had a good time. Chris says, no, don't go. I'm sorry, I do have to go. My kids are in the house and they're actually, they're yelling at me right now. So I do need to go, but thank you so much for wanting me to stay. I love you guys. Stay safe out there. Please stay safe. Don't go outside right now unless you absolutely have to. Let this stuff blow over. We're all going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. And thank you, everybody. I will see you on the next vid or stream. And when you see these land, don't forget to comment out there. Don't forget to like. Thank you so much, everybody. See you later. Have a good night. Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of DG360 who make continued content possible. DG360 patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Star Citizen packages, Steam gift cards, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating $1 if in any way you enjoy DG360 content. And these difficult times where independent content creation is under attack from the FTC and left to die by YouTube, it's nice to know that I'm appreciated. Thank you.